Ay, 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 ay.
Okay. Alright, programming socks ready. Oh no, don't have the Rusty Boy overlay. Great. Perfect. I know, I just wanted to do a Rust learning stream for now. But I stumbled on something absolutely hilarious while looking for like Rusty assets things. Let me hide this for a second. Mike Wazowski and His Bacteria Problem by Bubbles the Velociraptor 37. I actually only clicked through the first 2 pages. One day while working at Monsters Incorporated, Mike stepped on a rusty nail that pierced his skin. This is why you have to learn Rust. Little did he know that nail was crawling with tetanus bacteria. Wait, is tetanus even a bacteria? Tetanus. It is a bacteria. Nice, good research. Mike failed to clean the cut and he became infected. The skin became inflamed because his non-specific defense system was activated. His phagocytes tried to absorb all the harmful bacteria, but it was to no avail. The antibodies from B and T cells in his body also tried to neutralize the bacteria, but failed. B cells are from the... What the heck? Okay, you don't need to see my programming socks for this. I just... This is awesome. B cells are from bone marrow, while T cells are from the thymus gland, but both are white blood cells. Now his specific defense system was active. Mike decided to go to the doctor. There, he was told he had tetanus, and the only way to cure it was to clean the wound and take antibiotics. He also learned that if he had a nose, the hairs and mucus would act as a line of defense, blocking out bacteria. Unfortunately, he had no nose. The next day, Mike took a sick day and was able to clean his cut and recover with the help of his antibiotics. Within a few days, Mike was back to his old healthy self working at Monsters, Inc. Written by Tess H. and Elena J. Nice. This was worth it. Alright. Understanding ownership. Do you understand ownership, Daddy? Alright, there we go. Socks cam activated. We have rusty things. We're ready to learn Rust. I've already been through this like a year ago, but I got lazy and forgot all of it. Rust's central feature is ownership. How many BDSM jokes can we get out of this? Although the feature is straightforward to explain, it has deep implications for the rest of the language. All programs have to manage blah blah blah, the stack and the heap. If someone is unfamiliar with that, please say so. I'm gonna skip stuff I don't need to relearn. Each value in Rust has a variable that's called its owner. There can only be one owner at a time. No polyamory. When the owner goes out of scope, the value will be dropped. I'll play some music too. Lo-fi elevator music. Alright. We've walked through an example of a Rust program already in chapter 2, blah blah blah. I did the basic examples already. When S comes into scope, it is valid. It remains valid until it goes out of scope. The string type. String literals are convenient, but they aren't suitable for every situation in which we want to use text. Obviously, one reason that they're immutable, blah blah blah. This kind of string can be mutated. Well, yeah, because it's declared with a mute. What are programming socks? Those are programming socks. They're a very important tool for any experienced programmer. And all coders know the importance of programming socks. You wouldn't want to be caught coding without them. Memory and allocation. In this case of a string literal, we know the contents at compile time. If anyone's already done like any C language, all this is pretty obvious to you. We need to allocate an amount of memory on the heap, unknown at a compile time. That's what the heap is there for. Daddy, I'm allocating. Yeah, in C++, this is like resource acquisition is initialization, a very important pattern. If you've ever done C++, you should know this. If you are doing C++ and do not know this, learn it right away. Yeah. I'm skipping a lot because, like I said, I'm already familiar with a lot of this. Let me know if I need to stop on something. Ownership and functions. The semantics for passing a value to a function are similar to those for assigning a value to a variable. Passing a variable to a function will move or copy, just as assignment does. So yeah, it's very, very similar to C++ paradigms with a move and copy constructor. Are they called constructors? I have a doubt. Oh wait, you know what? This guy's a bit too big. Don't want him covering the text. Returning values can also transfer ownership. So if we create a string in a function, it's moved out to the calling function. S1, so gives ownership, puts it into S1, and then this function takes ownership and returns it. Excellent. The ownership of a variable follows the same pattern every time. Assigning a value to another variable moves it. When a variable that includes data on the heap goes out of scope. Let me lower the music volume a bit. The ownership of value, taking ownership and then returning ownership with every function is a bit tedious. What if you want to let a function use a value but not take ownership? It's quite annoying that anything we pass in also needs to be passed back if we want to use it again, in addition to any data resulting from the body of the function that we might want to return as well. It's possible to use return multiple values using a tuple. That seems really inconvenient. This is too much ceremony. Yeah, references. Imagine that. My memory, it works roughly like in C++. It's even the same syntax with the ampersand. Cool. Wait, let's see. Mutable reference. Let me see whether the error cases they demonstrate here. Okay, we got a function, calculate length. It returns strings reference .len. Good. Oh, it's the same as in C++ as well there, for the dereferencing operator. The ampersand S1 syntax lets us create a reference that refers to the value of S1 but does not own it. Yo. The scope in which the variable s is valid is the same as any function parameter's scope, but we don't drop what the reference points to when it goes out of scope because we don't have ownership. Functions have references as parameters instead of the actual values. We don't need to return the values in order to give back ownership because we never had ownership. While having references as function parameters, borrowing. What happens if we try to modify something we're borrowing? Okay, the compiler yells at us. The advantages of Rust. No tetanus for us. Okay, I need to explore this site later when I'm bored of this. Also, I want to see, is the advent of code like, because I wanted to use the 2020 advent of code to learn Rust, but I'm also not sure that trying to learn it without even knowing the basics is very smart. I'll just take a quick gander at it, see if I can try it in Rust real quick. Say in Christmas you've decided to take a vacation at a nice resort on a tropical island. The tropical island has its own currency and is entirely cash only. The gold coins used there have a little picture of a starfish. Locals just call them stars. None of the currency exchanges seem to have heard of them, but somehow you'll need to find 50 of these coins by the time you arrive. Oh, blah blah, that's an introduction for the stars. Before you leave, the elves in accounting just need you to fix your expense report. Oh god, accounting, my favorite activity. Apparently something isn't quite adding up. Specifically, they need you to find the two entries that sum to 2020 and then multiply those two numbers together. For example, suppose your expense report contained the following. In this list, the two entries that sum to 2020 are 1,721 and 299. Multiplying them together produces so the correct answer is that of course your expense report is much larger. Find the two entries that sum to 2020. What do you get if you multiply them together? Huh. Oh. Oh. I don't have my GitHub log on saved here. Interesting. Well, actually, I think that makes sense. I haven't really used this PC for coding yet. I think that's my account. I'm not sure. Well, if it isn't, I'll figure it out later. So much for the advent of code. What language socks are those? For now, they're gonna be. Oh, thank you for the follow, by the way. I'm sorry, my like follow announcement thingies are broken, so don't really. I should have fixed the. I should have fixed the assets off stream. Those are rusty socks for today. I want to learn Rust. So I'm just going through the book. I want to get started on like whatchamacallit. Get started on Advent of Code to learn Rust. The zero cost socks. Exactly. The efficient socks. I have some experience in C++, so a lot of the Rust stuff feels familiar to me, but I tried to learn it like a year ago, and I ended up getting distracted and doing other stuff, and I just remember the ownership syntax being a bit confusing for me, so I'm gonna take the time to go over it. I also gotta find my GitHub login again. So I can do get started on Advent of Code. Okay, where were we at? Yeah, you can't mutate stuff in a reference. That makes sense. You can create scopes with curly boys. Oh no. Ooh. We also have cannot have a mutable reference while have an immutable one. Wait, note that a reference's scope starts from where it is introduced and continues through the last time that reference is used. For instance, this code will compile because the last usage of the immutable references occurs before the mutable reference is introduced. Ah, that's cool. So it automatically parses the code, detects the text where the compiler knows where the last reference is. So there's some basic reference counting. The scopes of the immutable references R1 and R2 end after the println where they are last used, which is before the mutable reference R3 is created. So obviously, if we edited this, can we edit it? No. If we edited this and declared R2 as mutable, the compiler would yell at us, right? Let's try it out real quick. Now let's just go into hello world and wait, is my what's going on? Oh, there you go. Cargo. Oh, this doesn't have a cargo setup. Doesn't matter. Wait, main.rs. Yep. Let me just execute main. Hello and hello. Good. And then if we do this, mutable. Remove this mute. Nice. Cool. I like trying stuff out. Dangling references. In languages with pointers, it's easy to erroneously create a dangling pointer. Pointer that references. Oh boy! Don't let your pointers dangle. They're more dangerous than the rusty nail. Oh wait, one of those nails is actually over the editor. Let me fix that. And my socks are over the console. Actually, that's awkward. Where should I move myself? You know what, let's remove the gear. It's inconvenient. Make this smaller. There we go. What is that emote? It's cute. Actually, this nail, it's oh, it can be in the middle of the code. It's Rust code. It's fine there. Let's try to create a dangling reference, which Rust will prevent with a compile time error. Right, because the lifetime of S here dies in the scope. Go is my language of choice lately. Oh, you're a gopher. I've taken like a look at Go. I've had to mess around with it a little bit when at work at some point we tried to deploy was it a stun or a turn server? The more complex one of the two, to set up some peer-to-peer stuff. And Google had like an open source server for that. Move the cam at the top so we can stop the code. Stomp the code. Oh, good idea. Stomp it. This is a foot stream now. I'm just gonna sink into the depravity of what I'm doing right here. Let's just stomping. Yes, stomp. I need to move it over here. Right, like this. Move back. Oh, no TOS breaches. Stomping the code. Okay, that's that's enough for now. I am very composed. The loot is immeasurable. Oh no. Should I embrace it? Hey, this error message, yeah, it's so cool to. This is the reason why I want to learn this language. Like, obviously, if you're doing the good practices in C++, you should never have dangling pointers. But I mean, the language itself stops you from doing that. That's amazing to me. Okay, rules of references. You can have either one mutable reference or any number of immutable references. References must always be valid. Next, we'll look at a different kind of references. Slices. Oh, I love slices. Especially cheesecake slices. I guess you finally delivered. Yes, the programming sock stream is here. The slice type. I need, okay, the rusty scissors are going to be useful for the slice type here. Let's move them into prominence. Okay, what's so cool to me with this is like how many times have you had to copy the contents of a buffer and like play around with indexes stuff instead of getting directly into the slice of it that you need. Alright, here's a small programming problem. Write a function that takes a string and returns the first word it finds in that string. If the function doesn't find a space in the string, the whole string must be one word, so the entire string should be returned. Let's think about the oh, my boy doesn't know about non-space white space. Let's think about the signature of this function. First word. Okay, let's try to do it. CD and cargo new slicey boy. CD slicey boy. Okay, we got our src, our main.rs. Let's try. Should I try to write it without even looking at the solution? Probably not. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know string manipulation in this language, so I guess I'll just read on. Don't want ownership, so this is fine. I agree. But what should we return? Oh yeah, that's where the slice thing comes into play. Yeah, I could like return a tuple. Alright, index at the end of the word. That works, yeah, because it's just the first word. Just think of like a tuple for the indexes at the start and the end of a word you're looking for, stuff like that. To go through the string element by element and check whether a value is a space. We'll convert our string to an array of bytes. Ooh, yeah. This could have unforeseen consequences if you have some Unicode like emoji stuff too. I don't know if if you can like end up with like the space code in your Unicode emojis and stuff, but Alright, we'll discuss iterators in more detail in chapter 13. For now, know that iter is a method that returns each element in the collection, and that enumerate wraps the result of iter and returns each element as part of a tuple instead. First element of the tuple returned from enumerate is the index, and the second element is a reference to the element. This is a bit more convenient than calculating the index ourselves. Because the enumerate method returns a tuple, we can use patterns to structure that tuple just like everywhere in Rust. Else in Rust. So in the for loop, we specify a pattern that has I for the index and the tuple in the tuple, and ampersand item for the single byte in the tuple. To get a reference to the element from iter.enumerate, we use ampersand in the pattern. Inside the for loop, we search for the byte that represents the space using the byte literal syntax. If you find a space, we return the position. Otherwise, return the length of the string by using s.len. We now have a way to find out the index at the end of the first word in the string, but there's a problem. We're returning a usize on its own, but it's only a meaningful number in the context of the string reference. In other words, because it's a separate value from the string, there's no guarantee that it will still be valid in the future. Oh, that's why there's the example with the clearing. So what you're saying here is that Neyman needs to do an entrapment stream next. I feel like we're getting closer to the old adage of the internet, where the men are men and the women are men and the children are FBI agents. Look, just because I dream of becoming a hololive idol doesn't mean I'm not gonna do it, okay? Maybe not. Nito burrito. The rest is very Nito burrito. This compiles without any errors, but if you try to access the string at the wrong place later, you'll get fucked. A string slice is a reference to a part of a string. I like this syntax. It's kind of like Python-y. And anyone else likes big fat snakes? Don't join Hololive. I doubt they would accept me. Let's be real. Even if I wanted to. I mean, I actually, Jesus Christ, Twitch. What's going on? This is similar to taking a reference to the whole string, but with the extra 0 to 5 bit. Rather than a reference to the entire string, it's a reference to a portion of the string. Cool. We can create slices using a range within brackets. Oh yeah, let me... just fix something real quick. Boom, 46 follows. Yeah, so that's what slices are. Oh yeah, I was thinking about where have I seen this already? I've seen this in byte arrays in Node.js. You can create a view over the existing. Yeah, there it is. Control F view. Yeah. Typed array slice or buffer slice creates a view over the existing buffer without copying. That's I had to look this up. It was like itching in my brain for the last 5 minutes reading the slicey stuff. Okay, with Rust's range syntax, if you want to start at the first index, you can drop the value. I wonder. Okay, I need to try something real quick. I wonder if. Let's just make it. I have no idea what the fuck is going underneath anyway. Golang has plenty of slices. Well, underneath what's going on, have you ever done C? Or like, let's see, visual. Let's start up the big boy ID. I expected the socks, but not the full outfit. Escalation at arrived phase. Look, I promised the skirt. And I respect my promises. Dark theme, of course. We're vampires here. I can even do like a twirly twirl. Just oh, remove the rusty things. Hey. Oh, I'm not on the camera. There we go. Twirl for Visual Studio, exactly. Standing up, brave, bravest of us all. I am. My mom always said I was brave. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, if you're wondering, Tsundere Tuborm. I'm also looking at an. Oh hey, Anon. I'm also looking at the chat in another community called streams.gg. Just so in case you're wondering, like, who am I talking to? Okay, let's create a new project. Empty project, C++ console. That's perfect. Slices. Sure. Is it who would even wear programming socks without a dress? Agreed. Proper Visual Studio, fuck Visual Studio Code, give me that good shit. I agree, but last time I checked, I could double check honestly, but last time I checked, I didn't find a good extension for Rust in Visual Studio. Well, I guess it does exist. As for VS 2017 though, I have VS 2019 installed. We already know how sometimes compatibility issues, stuff like that. I'm also there's one other thing that kind of bothers me with Visual Studio, the full Visual Studio. I love the Nuvem plugin. Okay, I know using Vim is a huge meme. I don't recommend it for anyone, but I use Vim, okay? And I want a good Vim plugin in my big boy IDE. And Visual Code with Nuvem is a really, really good compromise. Oh shit, there's a Vim emote on Twitch. Dang. The Python plugin for Visual Studio fucked up my Python install beyond everything imaginable. I'm not even surprised, honestly. Isn't there like if you open the Visual Studio installer, because I imagine you installed like you installed Python like for real. It's an Emacs emote. This is the what the heck? What the heck are you? I'm considering only Vim too. That's VS Code inside my Vim. I highly recommend you check out Nuvem, the Nuvem plugin by Alexei Svetlyakov, because it's not emulating Vim. It's actually extension settings. I actually have, let's see, Windows Terminal. I literally have Nuvem installed, the original one, on my WSL here, and it's with this plugin, Visual Studio Code shares the buffer with Nuvem and commands and everything. So you can get a fully functional vimrc, all the bells and whistles, everything running the way you want it, and it's not emulated. So no bugs, no like a code base chasing after the actual Vim code base. It's NeoVim too, so you can have like better plugins and stuff. So I honestly don't even really make use of that. I just installed it because I think it's a cool idea. How does the IntelliSense completion thing work for in this case? So it's a bit complex, but like here, IntelliSense works, right? I have the language server, so it detects, it suggests println. I just press enter and it is there. But if I do undo, oh no, okay, they fixed that. It used to be that it would push characters one by one into here, and you would get a weird like undo redo buffer because of that. But it actually works perfectly. What is the profit over plain Vim overall? If I recall correctly, it's got much better plugin support. It's got a full like Lua API for your own scripting, so you can go much further in your macros and configuration and stuff. Honestly, I'm a really lazy person, and I tend to work a lot with what's already out of the box here. So I haven't customized it that much. I don't mean Vim versus Nuvem, but Nuvem versus Nuvem inside VS Code. Oh, I'm just used to like VS Code. Like I'm here obviously it doesn't matter that much, but I've been using VS Code a lot and to develop in Node.js for the past few years. The debugger works great. You can connect it to client side. You can connect it to server side. I don't even know where to start. I don't even want to learn CLI debugger, honestly. It seems like such a meme when you can. I understand like the argument for being more efficient in something like Vim or Emacs when you're familiar with the commands and everything. I don't see myself ever debugging in a CLI unless I have to on like a server over SSH or something crazy like that. And then I'll just learn it, but I'll hate it every second. Like suddenly it would randomly decide if it installs modules for my plugin install or regular Python install, even if it. Oh yeah, that's why I want to look. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the Python plugin in Visual Studio, like randomly decided to do a completely different install in based on professional dev build. Yeah, when I'm at work, I don't have time to spend 3 days like setting up. And it like goes back to the that famous XKCD on like time, XKCD time optimization chart. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Here. Just goes back to this. If I spend 3 days to save like oh, I know, yeah, to say like 1 second of something I do just weekly, I'll save 4 minutes across 5 years. Jesus Christ. There's a XKCD for everything, true. Okay, what was oh yeah, okay. I'm getting distracted here. Well, that's like how I develop always, I guess. Yeah. Let's see if there's any good Vim plugins now. And there's VS Vim, and VS Vim works, but I've had some weird things happen. I've sometimes had to like revert, like go back into Git commits because I like accidentally pressed a combination of commands and nuked a bunch of files, and then accidentally committed it. So yeah, I imagine it's become even more stable since last time I tried it. I'll install it anyways because I need my Vim emulation. Okay, when all windows are closed. Anyways, what were we doing? It creates a solution without a main? That's insane. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about slices. So the reason I wanted to go into here is let's do a void main, something like this. Imagine not being able to use G. Oh yeah, that would be insane. All those Vim plugins back in the days were shit because there wasn't real Vim underneath. Yeah, that's why I really like the Nuvem plugin in VS Code. But to be fair, I was looking to see if anything changed recently. In that other Vim plugin in code, I think it's this one. Yeah, VS Code Vim. Apparently they added a like a pipe to Nuvem, or that it works like the same way as the Nuvem plugin, where it pipes G to it for better efficiency, stuff like that. Some MATLAB and JetBrains implemented it though. Yeah, the JetBrains Vim plugin is really good. I mean, JetBrains in general is an amazing IDE. I highly recommend. What were we doing? Okay, let's do some like uint 8. Wait, uint. Jesus Christ, I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so please bear with me. Let's just go with char 8t data. I'm gonna. I don't know if I can write this blind. I haven't touched C code in like a year. Please help me, senpai. Can we do like a literal here? Jesus. Everything is yelling at me right now. Identifier is undefined. Can I just do char? Okay, good. No suitable conversion from. Wait, this is a lambda for you? Alright, let's just. Oh, I can use this, right? If I do. Oh, wait, I'm being dumb. Right. Is this the syntax? I'm supposed to be a professional C++ developer. I may or may not. I may or may not constantly have a Google tab open. Oh God. I swear I've developed applications that are actually used. Okay, yeah, this is viable syntax. It's so tiny. Oh yeah, let's zoom. Look at this big code. Let's hide the. We're not doing rest. Let's hide the resty things. My code is big. Okay. Right. So like a slice. How would we represent a slice? I guess doing it. Like a slice would just be like we can have a pointer to that to the address of data 1. Let's make it a bit let's make it a bit longer here. You can have a pointer to the char start of slice. Right, this works. And we can have a pointer to the end of slice. I think like 99 point, it's huge, that's what they all say. I think like 99.9999999% of all implementations are basically just doing this under the hood. Like if we were gonna do it in C++, we could have like a class slice. It's gonna pubic constructor is just slice. Like, what could we have? We could have like, oh, actually, God, are we getting distracted into templates? Yes, let's get distracted into templates. Template T slice T, more like iced tea. God, what am I doing? Can have like a reference to T. It's got to be enumerable. I know there's like ways to. Why are you yelling at me? Identifier T is undefined. A template. Oh no, is this how we do it? God, I don't remember template syntax. That's fine, but then you add some weird operations on such slice, and the naive implementations fly out the window. Yeah, that's what I'm realizing. Like, I'm thinking of writing, like, if I want to write a real quick slice implementation in C++, I would definitely go for templates, because then you don't have to worry, like, writing a different one for chars and a different one for uint32 and int32 and so on and so forth. But oh wait, first off, I would have to remember how to write. This is frustrating because I love templates. Okay. Template C++, I need to just like a template class. Cool. Right, so you have to declare it here, class T. Now you know my identifier. Great. Template argument list is not allowed in the declaration of a primary template. Right, we don't need it there. Good. Okay. Daddy Rob Pike really doesn't like it when I use generics. Who's Rob Pike is not a worthy daddy if he doesn't like generics, okay? Who is he actually? Oh, Golang. Oh, right, the generics are a huge meme in Golang, right? I've heard about that. Yeah, and so you would what would you have? You would could you would actually have to give the slice ownership the ownership of it into your template. It would get complicated. So you know what, let's stop here. I'm going back to sure save. I'm gonna go back to Rust here. As I could get lost in templates for 3 days. That's actually what usually happens when I start trying to write generic code. Alright, where were we at? Rusty things. Put those back on. Camera back up here. Okay, slices. You can do dynamic slices. That's something I was wondering about. Good. That's important. Also drop values. Both values to take a slice of the entire string. Cool. String slice range indices must occur at valid UTF-8 character boundaries. If you attempt to create a string slice in the middle of a multi-byte character, your program will exit with an error. For the purposes of introducing string slices, we are assuming ASCII only in this section. A more thorough discussion of UTF-8 handling is in the storing UTF-8 encoding text with strings. Yay, encoding! My favorite problem in programming. Amazing. Don't you love spending 3 hours getting stuck on encoding issues and like looking through binary gibberish, trying to figure out, like copy pasting it into a hex editor to understand that you actually bongled the whole encoding of your stuff? With all this information in mind, let's rewrite first word to return a slice. Oh, that reminds me, one of the funniest problems I've had in this year. I was receiving base 64 encoded. No, was it a byte array? I think it was a byte array encoded PNG for a website, so something like that. And I ended up decoding it wrong, and I literally debugged it by like copy pasting it into the hex editor and figuring out what the yes, I correctly had like the JPEG header stuff, but it threw away all the non-printable characters, so there was like some weird ASCII forcing to ASCII thing going on. Anyways, with all this information in mind, let's rewrite first word to return a slice. Let's do it. And now that we know how slices work, we can return... is this... Can we just return a string like this? Doesn't it have to be a... Oh yeah, this is not good. Can it just be a... Okay. I like data types. Well, data types are cool, I agree. Okay, so we're taking a string s. We're turning it to bytes. That's bytes. Ooh. We're iterating over them in bytes.iter.enumerate. And if... I have no parentheses in this language. I'm assuming... I haven't yet... There's this very helpful JavaScript LZMA library that tries to guess if it uncompresses a string to give you a string instead of a JavaScript bytes thingy. And then some of your protobufs decode into a string and everything hits the fan. Yeah, that's why coercing types or trying to guess them is usually a very, very awkward thing, right? Why is my linter yelling at me? Please. Woo woo. Why is my linter all red? Okay, so, oh yeah, so we can just return the slice from here. Good. Otherwise... can't we just return s here? We don't have to. I guess it's more readable if we do this. I guess this would be better for code review, right? So let's let word sexually transmitted disease poop the fan, and then we print line first word where this variable is string. Let's call it string. We might be missing... Oh yeah, I'm being dumb. Oh, right. I don't need found struct string. Wait, am I going insane? Glad to hear I'm not the only one who thinks about that whenever he types STD. Yeah, every single time. STD is sexually transmitted disease, and ETC in Linux is always etc. in my brain. Oh whoa. Wine made oopsie whoopsie and is fucked. Ooh. I should have worn my ooh t-shirt for this. Actually, I might, but I need the camera's on this. It's a socks cam for now, so I'll change if the cam needs to change the point of view. Wait, am I really dumb? Oh, it's string from. Okay, and this needs to be a reference. Good. And so, do cargo run Yay, it printed poop. I've got poop in my console. Let's fix it. Let's weeb it up. Ew woo. How many subs in order for a professional socks on a green screen stream? You know what? I'm not affiliate, so good luck subbing to me. But that would be yeah, the camera's off. So that would be fun. That would be nice having a green screen and for the socks. Oh, I could do like socks on socks in the snow. All sorts of socks on socks action. Cool. We have a function that parses string to get the first word. Ooh, a second word. Oh yeah, let's not look at the tutorial. We can do this by ourselves. Second word. Star sector. Yes. I should continue my playthrough actually. I've been streaming it. Shit is dope. Spent an entire night debugging it. Star sector. Wait, is Star sector open source? Oh damn! It is open source. It's Java. That's so cool. And you've worked on debugging it? Was it did you mod it or that's so cool. Thank you for your service. It's not really open source, but the API thing is okay. Okay. Oh, I really like the that game. Okay, so we're doing a second word. Let's do as bytes. Bite me, daddy. For item in bytes dot iter enumerate. So we're gonna need to find two indices. Let's do let mute word start. Don't have to initialize it. It is worse than cocaine. It is pretty addictive. Though I haven't yet finished it. Not even once. Okay, how do we do this? Can we... I'm thinking of a really, like, my instinct would be to do something like this, to like shadow the word start variable, but I'm afraid it's going to be out of context here if I shadow it in the scope here. What I should do is I should make this a loop, right? No, because yeah, no, this is the... let's just do -1, okay? That's a good value here. Okay, if word start inferior to 0, first word end, word start equals I. Oh yeah, I haven't made it mutable. There we go. Oh, because it's a U size. Okay, let's turn it into an int. Let's return, in this case, let's return this so it stops yelling at me. Not found in the scope. How do I cast in Rust? Casting in Rust. Oh, us. Okay, that's cool. Us, that works. Perfect. Else, right? Right. No, not right. Oh. Ah. Okay. This actually has to be a U size. That's awkward. How do I make a nullable? Oh, I remember there's this construct in Rust for nullable types. Null doesn't exist. Where is it? Oh, I think it was in flow of control. No. Generics. Attributes. Okay, let me just Google this. Daddy Rob Pike doesn't like nullable types. To be fair, I don't think Rust likes nullable types either. Let's see. Rust nullable type. Oh yeah, std option. That's the one. That is the one. And then we can match it. Good. Okay, so we declare this as none. And then we don't cast this. Oh yeah, this has to be a match. A match made in heaven. Match word start. I can throw all this out. Oops, no. Okay, this is in case we match none. And if we match some, we actually don't care about the value. Let's show we don't care about the value. I didn't care about you. Not true, I love you all. Some, okay, we match it and we return dot I. Okay, still not. Oh wait, we do care about the value. Yeah. Derp. Of course we care about the value. Oh. How do I assign a value to an option? Okay, std option. Implementations is some, is none, contains, as ref, as mute, unwrap, map, map or. Okay, or those are all just to check the value. How do I assign? Ah, there we go. How to set it if it's empty. Get or insert with method. This executes a closure when the option is none and uses the result as the new value. We already have a value to insert, or creating the value isn't expensive. You can also use the get or insert method. Oh god, the stream is getting looter and looter. We're inserting values. Woo woo. I don't think that is what I want to do though. Is it? I already have a value to insert. Creating the value isn't expensive. You can also use the get or insert method. Let me check the documentation real quick. Inserts a value computed from f into the option if it is none, then returns a mutable reference to the contained value. Okay, this should work, maybe? But the thing is, I don't want to... I kind of want to do this with the match stuff. How to insert value into option, Rust. It wasn't the... This is unfortunate. Okay, let's Control F insert. Get or insert. Oh, those are the... That's what we already looked at. Oh, wait, no, that's for a hash map. Is that? Oh no, because a hash map... Because a hash map is... what? I don't know what I'm looking at. Squares is a hash... yeah. Oh god, I've been missing this. Yep. You've been missing the real cooter stream. This is awkward. Oh, I have an idea. Oops. If I wrap it in a sum. Yes. Good. Okay. That was the issue. I wasn't wrapping it in a sum. This is a good meme for step-by-step learning. Okay, I'll look at that. At first I was thinking of doing the advent of code in Rust, but then I realized it's like advent of code is designed for like having fun in a language you already know the basics of at least, so I might as well do this first. Aww, Cousteau. Rip. This little crabby crab. Cool. I'll finish and I'll continue doing the starter book, and then I'll take a look at the Rustlings. All right, so I got something to print the second word now. Let's do it. Oh, I just thought of something. Since we're this end condition is not good here, we need to match word start again here. If there's none, then indeed there was only a single word in the whole string, but if there was a space somewhere, because the string doesn't have to end with a space, we need to return this. That's much better. Let's just add a test. Good. Cargo run. Perfect. Oh, not perfect. Ah ha 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 ha. Let me think about this. Oh, this fails. This fails on a string that has a space as the last character, I'm pretty sure. Or does it? Wait a second, because I'm slicing from the index of the last character to the end. I guess I'm trying to print a null terminator at this point. Or am I? Huh. Let me try something here as well. How does first word react to this? Pretty sure I found a... Okay, first word behaves correctly, but second word, we found an edge case that breaks it. And the issue being, if I don't do this, printing the space, I would need to trim it. Oh, I know. There we go. That's not good. Okay. How do I detect that the last character is a space? Or that there is white space? Is there a trim? And that's kind of lazy, but Rust trim white space. Okay, I want to trim. Cool. All right, that fixes it. Cool. Let's keep slicing. This is a circumcision stream. Where's that rusty circumcision tool? Oh god, I'm shriveling just looking at it. A rusty circumcision tool. Oh no. Oh god. Why am I searching for this? Okay. It's okay. It's okay. We'll be fine. These are some brave Google terms. Thank you. I I do consider myself a brave person. Okay. Second word, we fucking nailed it. They didn't even ask us to do it, but I did anyways. This is like my work. Okay, we now have a straightforward API that's much harder to mess up because the compiler will ensure the references into the string remain valid. Remember the bug in the program in listing 4-8, when we got the index to the end of the first word but then cleared the string so our index was invalid? That code was logically incorrect but didn't show any immediate errors. The problems would show up later if we kept trying to use the first word index with an emptied string. Slices make this bug impossible and let us know that we have a problem with our code much sooner. Using the slice version of first word will throw a compile time error. Call from the borrowing rules that if we have an immutable reference to something, we cannot also take a mutable reference. Because clear needs to truncate the string, it needs to get a mutable reference. Rust disallows this, and compilation fails. Awesome. Pog. String literals are slices. Oh. Interesting. String slices as parameters. Ooh. Let's do that right away. More generosity. If you have a string slice, we can pass that directly. Cool. Cool. Other slices. Okay, we sliced it up. Defining and instantiating. This is actually occupying so much screen space. Defining and instantiating structs. Structs are similar to tuples. This is basically like C structs. To define a struct, we enter the keyword struct and name the entire struct. Now let's make another cargo for this. Keep it organized. Cargo new structs. I keep wanting to, like, in that other exercise, Slicey Boy, I keep wanting to write the functions above main. So used to old school compilers because of for this kind of code from like C and C++. Okay, so our user has a string, an email. Blah blah blah. To use a struct after we've defined it, we create an instance of that struct by specifying concrete values for each of the fields. Create an instance by stating the name of the struct and then add curly brackets containing key value pairs, where the keys are the names of the fields and the values are the data that we want to store in those fields. Makes sense. Ankles. To get a specific value from a struct, we can use dot notation. Makes sense. Note that the entire instance must be mutable. Rust doesn't allow us to mark only certain fields as mutable. As with any expression, oh yeah, it's mutable. We can construct a new instance of the struct as the last expression in the function body to implicitly return that new instance. Okay, we got a build user function here to show the implicit return. Makes sense to name the function parameters with the same name as the struct fields, but having to repeat the email and username field names and variables is a bit tedious. Yay! We have the same as in JavaScript, the shorthand, poggers. I love this syntax. Creating instances from other instances with struct update syntax. It's often useful to create a new instance of a struct that uses most of an old instance's values, but changes some. Listing 5.6 shows how we create a new user instance in user 2 without the update syntax. Okay, let's do that. Let's make those. Gonna declare myself a little struct here. So let's use the same one. Wait. Used. I've been used and abused. Yeah, let's stick with that. Used. Oni-chan, I've been used. Sorry. What are the types? Okay, like this. Good. Email. Username. Virginity. To know if it's actually being used or not. Usage count. Needs to be a 64-bit value. You don't want to end up overflowing. Build user. Email, username. Let's default it to true on creation. Usage count 0. Oh, I forgot the return value. Great. I wish those were green. The highlighting. Okay, so let's make you Tsundere tube worm. What's your email? Let's oh, let me. I actually don't want to throw a string in here. I think I want to. For now, let's just throw a slice. Oh, but then we have to build a string from. Okay, we can do it like this: string from. I'm okay with that. There we go. Field is never read. Aw. Let's make another one. Ooh, I know what I'm gonna do. Can we do default values? Obviously you can, because it's a well-designed language, but how do we do default values? Ooh. Like this? No? I probably should look it up. Okay. Default values Rust function parameters. Oh, Rust doesn't support default function arguments. You have to define different methods with different names. There's no function overloading either, because Rust uses function names to derive types. Function overloading requires the opposite. Ooh. That's interesting. Okay. Let's leave it at that. So just for Gehinhyug, we're gonna have to make a new function here. Build to generate. Cool. Excuse me, you are the one in the skirt and programming socks. I'll let you know that programming socks are an extremely respectable form of clothing. I am a respectable lady. I will not let you slander my name and my innocence. In fact, that's why I preemptively handle that here. Gehinhyug at let's put you at streams.gg. Oh. There's gotta be a simpler way to go through all the values. Okay, virginity false. How many times have you coomed, Gehinhyug? Be honest with us. Let's go with 123,456. All right. Creating instances from other instances with struct update syntax. Let's look into this. It's often useful to create a new instance of a struct that uses most of an old instance's values but changes some. You do this using the struct update syntax. It's not a skirt, it's a dress. It actually is a skirt. It actually is a skirt. You uncultured swines. I'm sorry. You're actually wrong here. It would have been a really cute dress, but it's a really cute skirt instead. I really like skirts. Okay, so that's what I went for. But I do like dresses. Actually, I like skirts and dresses for the same reasons. So I've created a struct for you, Tsundega Tubeworm. I don't know if you are here. And I made you the innocent one. You are pure, your virginity is true, and you've been used 0 times. Okay? Untouched by the tragedy of reality. Yeah, for the same reason you want a voyeur chair. It did look very dressy. True, yeah. It's an easy mistake to make. It did look very dressy, and I'm wearing a black t-shirt, so... Yeah, well, I didn't get the wire chair. Oh! I've got a super cool chair arriving tomorrow. That's probably gonna help me a bit with my back problems. I'm super happy about it. I'm getting the autonomous ergo chair too. It's can I just like find a picture? Look at this. I'll become this beautiful woman thanks to this. Jeez, what's going on here? Yeah. Looks so... Yeah, I tried it at a friend's place. That's why I went for it. It's really, really comfortable. Good chair is important. I agree. Good programming socks, good chair, and you've got all you need. Alright, so how do I... Struct Update Syntax. Oh, I see. So I could build a new one. Let's make sine wave at I haven't coded much on this keyboard. I keep mistyping. I'm making excuses. I'm just terrible. Streams.gg. Username sign, and if we do this, okay, I have a similar one and save my life. Good. It should save mine as well. My back's hurting. Okay, sign, if you're there, do you want to be, are you a Coomer or are you a pure innocent chatter? Well, if he isn't there, I'm making him a Coomer. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh yeah, it's not user, it's used. Oh, and I have to string from. I'm a Coomer masking as a normal individual. Okay, good. I picked the right the right user to derive you from. So I keep it on the down low. That's what you gotta do for the Coomer life. No one respects it. Use tuple structs without named fields to create different types. Oh, that's convenient for colors and points. That's cool. Can we do something with our user structs? Apparently you can go from slightly hurty to excruciatingly hurty quite rapidly. Ooh, yeah, I can imagine that. Until now I've mostly had like chronic slight pain or tingling. But I actually am really worried because in my back I have like if you look at my spine, that's already not a very straight spine. If you let's just do a line. Okay, we go. Like normally, if you look from the back, the spine should be straight. My spine is like mostly straight, and then there's like one vertebra that's like off to the side, and then it continues. Shift drag. Oh. What? Oh! Shift drag with the line creator. Cool. Nice, I learned something new. Okay. Yeah, and this vertebra is like where my way to tank. Yeah. This vertebra is like where my my back hurts. Oh no. Yeah. I went when I was working in China. I actually had I was going like once a week or once every 2 weeks to massage parlors, and one time I had someone literally like use the palm of his hand to try to like shove the vertebra back in. It was an experience. It didn't work, unfortunately. Kino, hey, what the hell? Are you saying what the hell to my back? I'll get it fixed. I need to find like a therapist for that. You own a skirt? Yes, I do own a skirt, and I own programming socks, as you can tell. It's I own only for programming though. Those are professional tools. Okay. Oh yeah, we could have just made those string references instead of so we wouldn't have to like use the string from stuff. That would actually be better. I feel a bit lazy to whatever it is. I feel a bit lazy about refactoring it now. It's possible for structs to store references to data owned by something else, but to do so requires the use of lifetimes. Oh yeah, I remember lifetimes are a really complicated feature. A REST feature that we'll discuss in chapter 10. Lifetimes ensure that the data referenced by a struct is valid for as long as the struct is. Let's say you try to store a reference in a struct without specifying lifetimes like this, which won't work. Ooh. Okay. Example. Oh, I wanted to use my users. I made users for all of you. With great socks comes great responsibility. True. I feel very responsible right now. I'm like a mommy. No, what am I saying? Let's make a new binary project. Oh, I guess I'm sorry for not. I'm sorry for not using you. Tsundere to worm, Gehinhug and sign. I guess I'll use you another time. Cargo new rectangles. Let's go. Code src main boom. Save. I mean, nah. I already know what they're gonna make me do here. Let's do it first. Let's declare a rectangle struct that is. Do we just hold it like this, like a tuple? I think we can. I may die and fade away, but I will live on in code for cooters to discover. Yes, yes, you will. Okay, so we got our rectangle struct. I think we can skip to the point where they make us do it. Refactoring with tuples. Yeah. Oh, they want us to make a named struct. We can do a named struct and with named fields. It's true that's even cleaner. We do clean code here. Clean, pure, innocent code. None of that degenerate, unreadable stuff. Am I doing something wrong? Oh yeah, I am. You are my rectangle, my only rectangle. You make me edgy. Okay, and then we have an area calculation function. I'd rather call it rect area. Correct. All right. I just do a little printy boy. This reminds me of a Kruder and Dorfmeister song. The start of it is a Kruder and Dorfmeister song, like the exact same chords. Or on the compilation, Kruder, yeah, on the K&D sessions, Heroes. Okay, I can't play all of it because it's DMCA, but and then this song. Wait, can I go back to the start? Yeah. It's not in the same key, but I swear it's the same progression. Anyway, sorry. Print Hello World. I already have a Hello World project here. Oh, but I messed around with it. It's no longer a Hello World project. Okay, you want the Hello World? Actually, I'm not gonna do it. Do it yourself. Learn. I'll give a man a Hello World, and he will code for a day. Teach him to Hello World, and he will code for 5 minutes. That is some wisdom. I want you to think about it. Okay, if you really want one, I actually have a really lazy way of making it. Cargo new hello Kino. I'm too dumb to code. It's not about intelligence, honestly. There's a secret you discover when once you're coding, and it's that hello Kino. Look, my computer said hello to you. All right, where were we? So we're printing the area of the triangle. So let's do rect area. Rect. Cool. Oh, and this needs to be a reference. No, none of this. And we have to go back into rectangles. Do a cargo run. The area is 1,500 units. Amazing. Here we've defined a struct and named it rectangle. Inside the curly boys, we defined the fielded as wideded and the heyded, both of which have type U32. Weird champ. Restream is sending some dumbass messages. Okay. Our area function is now defined with one parameter, which we named rectangle, whose type is an immutable borrow of a struct rectangle instance. Adding useful functionality with derived traits. Ooh, now we're getting into the spicy stuff. I like it. Okay. So, apparently we're going to display the rectangle. So if we do this and just put it in here, yeah, we get the rectangle doesn't implement std format display. Format strings, you may be able to use this and this for pretty print instead. Okay, so we're going to implement a trait. Oh, okay. So now we're getting into syntax that I'm absolutely not familiar with. The only thing I know about, the only thing this evokes for me as far as syntax goes is the absolute nightmares of like, why are they called traits as well? There was this like weird thing in Microsoft's managed C++, where you had, or was it in oh, it was an interface declaration language, I think. You have that. I've done a fair bit of that with like writing COM extensions to programs. Okay, so now that we've added the debug trait, rectangle cannot be formatted. Wait, no, that wasn't enough. Oh, because I haven't saved the files. My apologies. Oh, it's still not working. Okay. Oh, okay, because now we use this, right? And this is the... What is this exactly? Can you please explain? It's not the prettiest output, but it shows the values of all fields for this instance, which would definitely help during debugging. When we have larger structs, it's useful to have output that's a bit easier to read. In those cases, we can use this instead of this in the println string. Okay. That's nice. And the function is never used now. That's okay. We don't care. Let's provide us a number of traits for us to use with the derive annotation. Oh yeah, those are annotations. That's the word. They are very janky in the Windows world. Method syntax. Ooh, we're gonna make classes. Nice. Poggers. Okay, we can delete this and work on our implementation. Rectangle fn area self u32 self dot wood times self dot hate. And its area is rect dot area. Amazing. To define the function within the context of rectangle, we start an implementation block. Wait a second, where's this operator? Oh, yeah. In C and C++, two different operators are used for calling methods. If you use dot, you're calling the method on the object directly, and if you use the arrow, you're calling the method on a pointer. But we only ever use references, so we don't have to deal with pointers. How very convenient. Methods with more parameters. Ooh. Can you hold me, daddy? So we have a reference to a self and a reference to another rectangle. See if we can hold it inside, and we return a bool. Fun fact, boule in French means ball. So, how do we check if a rectangle can hold another one? We don't have any position, so all we really need to do is check return a combination of, I'm not Fan of this music. I think. Yeah. I think all we need to do is return a combination of self.width superior to rect.width and self.height superior to rect.height. Unnecessary parentheses. Okay. My apologies, Mr. Linter. I'm a bit lazy about copying all those rects, so let's just paste them in. And yeah, let's just paste it all in. Oops. It's not the Vim buffer. There we go. Cargo run. Yeah, dead code doesn't matter. We should be getting true for rect 2 and false for rect 3. Wow. My code worked. I'm capable of checking if a rectangle can hold another one. Please hold me, daddy. Okay. We know we want to define a method, so it will be within the imp rectangle block. Hey, I already wrote this. Amazing. Associated functions. Another useful feature of impl blocks is that we're allowed to define functions with impl blocks that don't take self as a parameter. So like static functions for like static functions in Java or C++, right? They're called associated functions because they're associated with the struct. They're still functions, not methods, because they don't have an instance of the struct to work with. Yes. Exactly. So this is to make a square out of the rectangle. Or rather, return a rectangle that is a square. That's pretty useless. Each struct is allowed to have multiple implementation blocks. I guess you're making 20,000 like squares that have to be rectangles, then it's useful. Oh, okay, yeah. I have multiple blocks. It's not blocking me. Haha. Structs aren't the only way you can create custom types. Let's turn to Rust's Enum feature. Enum? They hate them because they enum. First, we'll define and use an enum to show how an enum can encode meaning along with data. Next, we'll explore a particularly useful enum called option. Oh, we've already used it. Where did we use it again? We used it in Slicey Boy. There we go. Got some option action here. Defining an enum, yeah, classic use of enums, constants for stuff to hard code. Here we've defined a struct IP address that has two fields, a kind field that is of type IP address kind, and a string. Makes sense. We can represent the same concept in a more concise way using just an enum, rather than an enum inside a struct, by putting data directly into each enum variant. This new definition of the IP address enum says that both v4 and v6 variants will have associated string values. Oh, so it's like a little mappy map. We attach data to each variant of the enum directly, so there is no need for an extra struct. There is another advantage to using an enum rather than a struct. Each variant can have different types and amounts of associated data. Version 4 type IP addresses will always have 4 numeric components that will have values between 0 and 255. Right, so you can make a tuple out of it. And v6 is a string value, because it's weird. I'm looking at you, IPv6, you're weird. We've shown several different ways to define data structures to store version 4 and version 6 IP addresses. However, as it turns out, wanting to store IP addresses and encode which kind they are is so common that the standard library has a definition we can use. Well, that makes sense. Hey, this is the standard library implementation. Cool. I want to make sure I'm understanding your analogy correctly. Sure. What analogy specifically? I don't remember making an analogy in my recent deliberations. Note that even though the standard library contains a definition for IP address, we still can create and use our own definition without conflict because we haven't brought the standard library's definition into our scope. We'll talk more about bringing types into scope in Chapter 7. Let's look at another example of an enum in listing 6-2. This one has a wide variety of types embedded in its variants. It's a message. You can quit, you can move, you can write, and you can change color. What kind of application would use a message like this? Neyman, show Ximus to code and he'll code for a day. Teach Ximus how to code and he'll create chatterbait.com. Well, yeah, I'm down, especially if I get some sweet percentage in his Chatterbait site. Oh, to be fair, why would Ximus code when he can coom? That's the real issue here. If Chatterbait didn't exist, I could see him code the heck out of it. Okay, so this is a message enum. Okay, so it's your message. Either you send a quit message, a move message, a write message, or a change color message. Like the move makes me think this could be for like a video game. Deep, kind of like his favorite search words. The change color makes me think of like an online Photoshop thing. Anyways. Define an enum with variants such as the ones in listing 6-2 is similar to define different kinds of struct definitions, except the enum doesn't use the struct keyword and all the variants are grouped together under the message type. Like a namespace basically, right? The following structs could hold the same data that the preceding enum. Struct quit message, unit struct. Ooh, we haven't seen unit structs yet. But if we use the different structs, which each have their own type, we can thus easily define a function to take any of these kinds of messages as we could with the message enum defined in listing 6-2, which is a single type. There is one more similarity between enums and structs. Just as we're able to define methods on structs using imp, we're also able to define methods on enums. Here's a method named call that we could define on our message enum. Interesting. Body of the method would use self to get the value that we called the method on. In this example, we've created a variable n that has the value message write. That is what self will be in the body of the call method when call returns, of course. The option enum and its advantages over null values. Going full circle, back to null. Blah, blah, blah. In his 2009 presentation, Null references the billion-dollar mistake. Tony Hoare, let's be wholesome. Hoare, the inventor of null, has this to say: the first study Stanford isn't enough for Chatterbait when you don't make the cut. I imagine they have a high standard of recruitment. They're a very successful company. That said, their interface really looks like it. Well, it kind of is from like the Web 1.0. I call it my billion-dollar mistake. At that time, I was designing the first comprehensive type system for references in an object-oriented language. My goal was to ensure that all use of references should be absolutely safe, with checking performed automatically by the compiler. But I couldn't resist the temptation to put in a null reference, simply because it was so easy to implement. This has led to innumerable errors, vulnerabilities, and system crashes, which have probably caused $1 billion of pain and damage in the last 40 years. The problem with null values is that if you try to use a null value as a not null value, you'll get an error of some kind. Because this null or not null property is pervasive, it's extremely easy to make this kind of error. However, the concept that null is trying to express is still a useful one. A null is a value that is currently invalid or absent for some reason. So we have the enum option with a generic aspect to it. It's cool. I mean, we've already used it. I can skip this. Unless anyone wants me, don't hesitate to tell me if you want me to read, like go into detail on a specific part. The match control flow operator. If you've ever written any Erlang or Elixir or any of those like hipster languages, this syntax has nothing new to you. I'm gonna skip this part. Yeah, I can make scopes in there with but it basically works like a lambda. Patterns that bind to values. Another useful feature of match arms is that they can bind to the parts of the values that match the pattern. This is how we can extract values out of enum variants. I'm not sure what the sentence means. As an example, let's change one of our enum variants to hold data inside it. From 1999 through 2008, the United States minted quarters with different designs for each of the 50 states on one side. Oh, so we have a US state enum and a coin enum. And the quarter has a US state, contains a US state inside it. Let's imagine that a friend of ours is trying to collect all 50 state quarters. While we sort our loose change by coin type, we will also call out the name of the state associated with... Move the slide around. Can you do coding streams on Chatterbait? I'm pretty sure you can. I've actually once stumbled upon a completely non-lewd drawing stream on Chatterbait. It's probably the stream I've watched the longest on Chatterbait. It doesn't do much for me, honestly, that website. Let's imagine that a friend of ours is trying to collect all 50 state quarters. So in the match expression for this code, we add a variable called state to the pattern that matches values of the variant coin quarter. Cool. If we were to call value in cents, coin would be coin quarter US state Alaska. Sorry. When we compare that value with each of the match arms, none of them match until we reach coin quarter state. At that point, the binding for state will be value US state Alaska. Where is that one? That's only if the coin is assigned to Alaska. I think there was a Twitch streamer that had said you get banned for things like gaming streams, so I guess it might depend how you frame it. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Like the drawing stream I stumbled on, it was non-lewd, but it had... She was talking about like streaming drawing naked and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess there's just some leeway like on Twitch where at some point if there isn't a mod in your chat you can do whatever and like no one reports you, that is. And apart from the thing where video game streams attract children, which would make it really awkward to have gaming streams on Chatterbait, the idea of having like non-porn streams on Chatterbait I think is pretty funny and pretty cool. Matching with option. Well, we've already done that, so I'm not gonna bother going through this. Oh, this is to increment an option of an 32-bit integer, but only if it's there. That's cool. Matches are exhaustive. Okay. The underscore placeholder. Oh, that's for the default, right? Ah, this is the unit value. Okay, so nothing will happen in the underscore case. As a result, we can say that we want to do nothing for all the possible values that we don't list before the underscore placeholder. However, the match expression can be a bit wordy in a situation in which we care about only one of the cases. For this situation, Rust provides if let. Omega lol. I was wondering where I had seen the tubeworm name around. He's a Twitch chatter who frequents programming streams. He's not a chatter here, is he? No, he's not. He they. I don't know. I don't know their gender. They joined my and they were chatting in my Twitch stream earlier, and they followed me. Pog. I guess I got lucky. I caught a tubeworm with my thick thighs. The hips don't lie. The if-let syntax lets you combine if and let into a less verbose way. Wait, what was that Shakira song again? I need to get it out of my head. Banana, banana, Shakira, Shakira. Which part is the hips don't lie? Shakira hips don't lie lyrics. Wait, when? Okay, it's actually in the verse. I thought it was in the. Never mind. I'm not gonna sing Shakira to you, unfortunately. Consider the program listing in 6-6 that matches on an option unsigned 8-bit value that only wants to execute code if the value is 3. This is more readable. If let sum 3 equals some U8 value. The only thing I find a little bit confusing is that I would expect the second equals here, but it is what it is. Using if let means less typing, less indentation, and less boilerplate code. True. However, you lose the exhaustive checking that match enforces. Depends on what you're doing, obviously. We can include an else with an if let. Nice. So we've now covered how to use enums, how to use the standard libraries option, generic. Your Rust programs can now express concepts in your domain using structs and enums. Creating custom types using your API ensures type safety. The compiler will make certain your functions get only values of the type each function expects. In order to provide a well-organized API to your users that is straightforward to use and only exposes exactly what your users need, let's now turn to Rust's modules. Cool. As you write large programs, organizing your code will be important because keeping track of your entire program in your head will become impossible. True. So, a package, a cargo feature that lets you build, test, and share crates. Oh, there's cargo workspaces as well. Crates, a tree of modules that produces a library or executable. So currently we're working at the scale of crates. Modules and use lets you control the organization, scope, and privacy of paths. Paths, a way of naming an item such as a struct, function, or module. So like a namespace in properly organized C++. In this chapter, we'll cover all these features, discuss how they interact, and explain how to use them to manage scope.
That cliche of art is not
packages and crates.
Yes, it can always be.
Let's walk through what happens when we create a package. First, we enter the command cargo new. It creates a cargo2ml and a main.rs that we already knew.
You get better by doing it, finishing it, learning from that process, then moving on to the next thing.
There is no mention of main.rs because cargo follows a convention that main.rs is the crate root of a binary crate with the same name as the package. Likewise, cargo knows that if the package directory contains src lib.rs, the package contains the library crate with the same name as the package, and src/lib.rs is its crate root. Example, the rand crate we used in chapter 2 provides functionality that generates random numbers. Yes, indeed. Okay. Defining modules to control scope and privacy. Okay, so we're going to create a new library now. Cargo new lib. Those damn liberals. Restaurant. Code src lib.rs. Oh, we got ourselves the little unit test boilerplate. Cute. Almost as cute as programming socks. Okay, so let's add a module called front of house, a restaurant, mod hosting, function add to waitlist. It's an empty function for now. Seat at table. Sounds like something a server would do. Haha. Wait, no, that's a host. Actually, that's what the host would do. This is what the server would do. Take order. Serve order. Take payment. Awesome. Place curly brackets around the body of the module. Blah, 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 blah. Paths for referring to an item in the module tree. So what we could do here is we could declare a public function eat at restaurant. I'm not gonna bother with the absolute path, that sounds really boring. Hosting, add to waitlist, good. Why is it red? Module hosting is private, ooh. To make it public. Oh, we need to make it, all of it public if we use it. That's weird. Shouldn't... Oh, okay, yeah, that's normal. This code does not compile because we need to make hosting public, or... Oh, we need to do something with it. Okay, yeah. So we need to make it public all the way down. Cool. All the way down. Now the code will compile. Let's look at the absolute and relative path and double check why adding the pub keyword. The pub keyword lets us use these paths and add to waitlist with respect to the privacy rules. The absolute path. We start with crate. Root over our crates module tree. Oh, that's... Also construct relative paths that begin in the parent module by using super at the start of this path. Okay. Okay, and we can have structs and enums in them. Is it true that the coders don't actually code, they compile? They usually do both. A bit of coding and then a bit of compiling. But what they mostly do is a lot of debugging. Debugging is usually like, I don't know, 60 to 90% of your work time. Oh, are we doing our back of house module now? Yes, we are. A function fix incorrect order. Hey, this is not going to work. We don't have a serve order yet. I'm just going to go with I'm just going to go with this for the back of house, I think. All right. Back of house. So we got a breakfast structure. This is the first breakfast or second breakfast? That's the important part. That's what we need to know. Toast is a string. Why would you toast a string? This is some very scuffed cooking here. Okay, let's implement breakfast. This is making me hungry, actually. I haven't eaten yet tonight. Summer. What is this example? Doo-doo-doo. Toast with peaches? That is just... I like peaches, but... this is some weird stuff. We're getting into some weird territory here. Meal.toast. Oh yeah, we can mutate it. Well, the thing, Sign, is if a lot of one of the biggest issues YouTube is facing right now, I feel like, is the DMCA stuff. In the sense that YouTube has a much better content ID system, so they're much less likely to run into like losing their safe harbor law protections. But yeah. String from wheat. Wheat. I like toast, please. Meal.toast. Okay. I don't see Twitch going under for that reason. Like, they're complying with the takedowns. Yeah, but what I meant is that by losing a lot of prominent streamers and losing people over it, they might see more and more. They might be losing a bit of market share, even though like the main thing with YouTube is that obviously it's just a bigger platform. So honestly, I was actually thinking about maybe like advertise instead of embedding my Twitch stream here on streams, embedding my YouTube stream, because I feel like the discovery from having like 5 wrestlers watching me from streams is gonna go much further on YouTube than on Twitch. I mean, it's something to try out. I'll try it out. I'd expect that eventually the focus would just turn on YouTube, and the same people would end up with the same takedown notices. Well, the thing is, like, if you create a VOD on YouTube that has DMCA-able content, the VOD is automatically monetized for the right owners. Like that's the whole thing YouTube's doing. That is such a huge advantage compared to Twitch. I like to see Twitch go through some hard times to pick up their game, but I don't see Twitch going into the ground and suddenly we all benefit from that. I don't see us benefit from that either. The ideal thing would be them upping their game for sure. But I just mean that DMCA, the only thing that YouTube might have issues with is live DMCA stuff. How do they handle copyrighted content going live? But I'm pretty sure, I would be surprised if their content ID stuff wasn't capable of handling that in real time, honestly. I could be wrong. Okay, how do I use my module in another program? We can add an appetizer to the back of house. Soup. Salad. Why would those be enums? I would do this. This makes much more sense for me. Alright, that's cool. The use keyword. We'll cover use by itself first, and then we'll show how to combine pubes, and use. I agree that YouTube has a better infrastructure and is more mature, but I at the same time don't think that changes that the Twitch creators aren't changing their usage of the platform. Okay, what did you say? At the same time, I don't think that changes. They'll still have DMCA issues, albeit, like you say, potentially slightly less if some of the DMCA guys don't care as long as they're getting reassigned the cut. We're talking about live shit here, so what about super chats and all that shit? Yeah, and they definitely would run into similar problems. I feel like what would happen with YouTube is what always happens when they have problematic stuff like developing. They ignore it until other people start really caring about it, and then it becomes a problem. Like, definitely some of the like super racist super chat stuff that you can see on like random big YouTube streams, like thousands of viewers, and getting like a voice, like that stream we watched together of the with the text to speech stuff, yelling racist slurs at 3,000 viewers. That would have gotten banned pretty quick on Twitch, I think. The dude climbing the bridge, yeah. I think that would have been banned pretty quick on Twitch, and YouTube definitely does not have that set up. They're never going to have that kind of moderation set up. Oh, so the use keyword is just like in C++. To pollute your namespace. I'm name man and I like namespaces, okay? Create idiomatic use paths. You may have wondered why we specified use create and then called hosting add to waitlist. Listing 711. This is the idiomatic way to bring a function into scope with use. Bringing the function's parent module into scope with use, so we have to specify the parent module when calling the function, makes it clear that the function isn't locally defined while still minimizing... Okay, so it's readability, yeah. On the other hand, when bringing in structs, enums, and other items with use, is it idiomatic to specify the full path? Right. Don't want to be doing collections hash map every time. Yeah, I need to remember to do that actually next time. You know, if I stream tomorrow or after tomorrow or whatever, I will associate my StreamsGG account with my YouTube live stream. So if you degens come watch me, it'll promote me on YouTube rather than on Twitch. The exception to this idiom is if we're bringing two items with the same name into scope with use statements, because Rest doesn't allow that. Listing 7-15 shows how to bring two result types into scope that have the same name but different parent modules and how to refer to them. As you can see, using the parent modules distinguishes the two result types. So instead we specified use that is very confusing, for sure. So yeah, you want to use us. Or do the full path. Re-exporting names with pub use. When we bring a name into scope with the use keyword, the name available in the new scope is private. To enable the code... Oh, okay, so you can make the shortcut public. That's a weird thing to do, though, as far as cleanliness of your API goes. Like, maybe it could be useful. Using pub use, external code can now call the add to waitlist function using hosting add to waitlist. Otherwise... Oh, because it's... Wait, what? They could still do front of house hosting add to waitlist, right? Right? Or am I missing something? I'm not sure about... I feel like I'm missing something here. I really should get this to work so I can try it. How do I import a module from my local? Let's just go with cargo build for now. It's never used. That's fine. Oh, I think I know. I think I know now what's going on here. If I pub it, I see. Yeah, so if I make it public, then the compiler understands that there might be an external reference to the function later on. And if I don't want to make the whole module public, then I can use this kind of syntax, pub use, and use them directly there. Okay, I understand the use now for that. Adding rand as a dependency in cargo2ml tells cargo to download the rand package and any dependencies from crates.io. Oh, because that's the rusty npm. Cool. Most downloaded rand because it's used in the hello world. That's pretty cool. Rand core. That's hardcore. Members of the Rust community have made many packages. Cool. For using multiple terms defined in the same creator module, listing each item on its own line can take up a lot of vertical space in our files. For example, these two use statements we had in the guessing game, bringing two items from standard library into scope. Instead, we can use nested paths to bring the items. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like this syntax. I like it. Bigger programs, bringing many items into scope. From the same creator module using nested paths. Man, I need to double take any time someone mentions Rust to figure out which one they're mentioning, even if it's semi-obvious. Oh shit, that's the big meme. I should be streaming this in the actual Rust category. Well, if I had enough viewers to be up there in the listing, like I don't know, even like 50 viewers, that would be really funny to do, I think. Just like, actually, let's see how many. Twitch.tv.
So you did mention the tag.
No, you didn't. 2.6k viewers. How far up could we get? Hey, you get banned for that though. Yeah, true. That's actually true. That would be so funny to me though. That's cool. So they... that's because it's recommended for you instead of being high to low now. I love the autoplay thing. Autoplay is so fun. Everything should be autoplay on every website. Even if there's no video, they should add video just to autoplay it. Maybe some loud videos. The ban appeal would be good though. But I was in the right category, Pepe Hands. Yes. And then they would look at my VOD and see it's 3 hours of the camera on my legs in a skirt, and I'd just get rebanned for lewd content. It's middle of the night and Twitch just casually blasts cancer straight into your ears. Yeah. Plus, like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going back there. Plus, okay, it's muted. Like, this was something really loud too, for some reason. Ugh. Ish. Ah, yeah. Or oh. Ooh. Okay, I'm oh, Nyanners is streaming. I like Nyanners. She's cute. In bigger programs, bringing many items into scope from the same crate, or module using nested paths. Reduce the number of separate use statements. Yeah, we got that. Ooh, this is pretty cool. Makes sense. The meaning of self. The glob operator. I'm gonna glob you. Ooh, I'm globbing. Yeah, whenever I see the word glob, I think of like glob. Yeah, this is exactly what I think of. Glob you. Yeah. This is like exactly what I think of when I see the word glob. Like a slime. Well, without the eyeball, but it's like ready to nom you. Okay. The glob operator is often used when testing to bring everything under test into the tests module. Ooh, right, we haven't looked at the unit testing here. So far, all the examples in the chapter define multiple modules in one file. When modules get large, that's what she said. Let's start from code in listing 7-17 and move the front of house module. Sure. To its own file. So, and now here, I like pre-declare it. Then I pub use create front of house hosting. Unresolved import. But what? How? How do I link the two files together? Using a semicolon after mod front of house rather than using a block tells Rust to load the contents of the module from another file with the same name as the module. That should be fine then. This is the same name. Front underscore of underscore house. Front underscore of underscore house. Oh, I see. Okay. We remove this this namespace here. And now it resolves. Cool. Dank. Alright, so wait a second. Okay, wait, no. Using semicolon. To continue with our example and extract the hosting module to its own file as well, change the src front of house to contain only the declaration of the hosting module. Oh, right, because those are separate modules. We're incepting modules. Right, then I delete this. I'll go elsewhere later. And then need to create a new folder, front of house. This new folder, create hosting.rs. Nice. Nice. So now I got a chain of imports up to our top level library. Okay, that's not as confusing as I remembered. For some reason, the first time I went through this years ago, or a year ago, I got really confused by the module system. I must have like misread the tutorial, skipped some parts. A vector allows you to store a variable number of values next to each other. Yes, we know what a vector is. Hash map. A hash map stores hash browns. Oh man, I'm so hungry. Oh, it's too late to order food. Oh no. I think I'm gonna have to cook myself some spaghetti. Got some spaghetti. And some arrabbiata sauce. I wanna have some hash browns on the stream now. Here, get out of the browser. There you go. Good. Storing lists of values with vectors. I'll do this, even though I already know what vectors are. I'll do this because I want to get familiar with the syntax. Well, actually, apart from new, vectors are implemented using generics. We'll cover how to use generics with your own types in chapter 10. For now, know that the vec_t type provided by the standard library can hold any type. And when a specific vector holds a specific tithe, you must pay a tithe to be in this stream. The tithe will be paid out in full, in blood. Or milk. I need to stop. The type is specified within the angle brackets. Okay. For more realistic code, Rust can often infer the type of value you want to store once you insert values, so you rarely need to do this type annotation. It's more common to create a vec_t that has initial values, and Rust provides the vec macro for convenience. The macro will create a new vector that holds the values you give it. Listing 8-2 creates a new vec i32 that holds the values 1, 2, and 3. The integer type is i32 because that's the default integer type, as we discussed in the data types section of chapter 3. Okay. Ooh, there are macros in this language too. That's gonna be interesting. So updating a vector. To create a vector and then add elements to it, use the push method as shown in listing 8-3. Dropping a vector drops its elements. I guess the vector has ownership of its elements as well. That would make sense. Yeah, I imagine it gets complicated with references. That's the other thing that really threw me off in learning Rust when I tried before. While reading elements of vectors, grab yourself a reference. Oh, this is a reference to the element itself. Okay. Or you can match. Oh, if you're not sure if the index is good, you can match using the get method. That's pretty cool. The get method is passed an index that is outside the vector. It returns none. When the program has a valid reference, the borrow checker enforces the ownership and borrowing rules. Attempting to add an element to a vector while holding a reference to an item. Oh yeah, this is... If anyone here is unfamiliar with how memory works in vector types, this shows that the implementation is the same as in C++, where pushing a new item to the vector is never guaranteed to conserve the same exact buffer. Usually the algorithm is something like every time you need to allocate a new buffer, it will either allocate a buffer twice or like two-thirds bigger than the old one, something like that. And reallocating and copying the contents to the new buffer means that any pointers assigned beforehand become completely invalid. They're pointing to like random heap space. So this is good. Rest doesn't let us do those kinds of errors. We can actually take a look at the exact implementation in the Rustonomicon, but that seems like something to do later. Iterating over the values in the vector. Well, you can just do variable name in reference to the vector. That's nice. And you can declare it as mutable. That's nice as well. And then you dereference it to assign to it. Using an enum to store multiple types. We've already done that. Oh, but to store multiple types in a vector. Okay, so this enum works as a variant type. And then we can declare a vector of type spreadsheet cell. And it is is a vector of variance in a certain way, like this. Rust needs to know what types will be in the vector at compile time, so it knows exactly how much memory on the heap will be needed to store each element. A secondary advantage is that we can be explicit about what types are allowed in this vector. If Rust allowed a vector to hold any type, there would be a chance that one or more of the types would cause errors with the operations performed on the elements of the vector. Using an enum plus a match expression means that Rust will ensure at compile time that every possible case is handled. When you're writing a program, if you don't know the exhaustive set of types the program will get at runtime to store in a vector, the enum technique won't work. Instead, you can use a trait object, which we'll cover in chapter 17. We got a push, a pop method, classic. Let's move on to the next collection type, strings. Storing UTF-8 encoded text with strings. Okay, so the new method is basically the idiomatic constructor for Rust. Oh, this is convenient. Okay. Instead of doing the string from, we can do this is equivalent to this code. This is convenient. Dobry den. This is salam alaikum, I imagine. Shalom. This is... I'm not sure what language this is. Konnichiwa. 안녕하세요. Crap. I worked for months in China and I forget how to say hello in Chinese. Oh no. That's so bad actually. I need to remember it now. I actually need to. Ni hao. Oh, thank you. Ni hao. Ni hao ma. There we go. String can grow in size and its contents can change, just like my dick. Sorry. If you push more data into it, just like my dick. In addition, you can conveniently use the plus operator on the format macro to concatenate string values. Okay, I want to see that. That sounds like a convenient macro for some quick and dirty string manipulation. Oh, okay. I do not know how to read Chinese though. At all. Like when I was working there, I was only learning random Chilema, have you eaten? Oh, I have not eaten. I'm so hungry. I actually forgot to eat this evening. I think I'll wait, was that for the right pronunciation? Probably not. I was always so bad with it.
吃了吗？
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 吃了吗？吃了吗？
吃
了吗？
吃了吗？吃了吗？吃了吗？ I think I'm pretty close to it. I'd have to ask a Chinese person. Or anyone who speaks Chinese, though. I remember like trying to I took the taxi once, and what was the sentence? 我家 was it? I want to go to in Chinese. 我想去. Oh yeah, 我想去. I was like, 我想去 something something street. 最近好吗? What is that? 最近好吗 in English? Oh, how have you been recently? Okay. Yeah, I'm used to the 你好吗, but yeah, that makes sense. 最近好吗? I'm pretty good, actually. Oh, today is the first day in like 2 or 3 weeks that I've successfully. Damn it! Why? Okay. For a second, I thought Google Maps was doxing me. Okay. Today was the first day in like 2 or 3 weeks where I haven't slept in the afternoon. I did completely procrastinate. And I'm probably gonna have to like check the project I'm working on right now. The backend server was kind of foobar in the afternoon. Well, late in the afternoon anyway. So gonna have to check if it's back up. But I probably should catch up on work a little bit instead of doing this. But trying to find easy ways to say much appreciated or I appreciate that, thank you, is way harder than you think in most languages. Yeah, especially since like those kinds of sentences, you're gonna have a lot of different ways of saying them in the end. This is like, look at the little head pat on the crab. This is so cute. He just goes like tap tap, pat pat. This is a sacred head pat, blessed one. Cousteau will never head pat you like this. Okay. past that depressing statement. We can push strings. This becomes foobar. I'm incapable of tonal languages. Yeah, I feel like if you haven't grown up with tonal languages, then it's hard. I'm incapable of them too. I also think we all have an incredible capacity to learn, and it's feasible. All right. Lol. Add is defined using generics. Here we're looking at the signature of add with concrete types substituted for the generic ones. Oh, I guess it's defined with generics, so then you add a trait to stuff that is addable to each other, I'm assuming. Ooh, I think I know a way of testing it real quick. Just go back here. Jesus, this campaign was way too hard for me. Killing hecking 900 dragons in 50 different fights while AI is auto-winning in all your towns. Jeez. What campaign is that? You've gone hard on the campaigns, Hoppenar. Anyways. First, S2 has an ampersand, meaning that we're adding a reference of the second string to the first string because of the S parameter in the add function. We can only add a string reference to a string. We can't add two string values together. But wait, the type of reference to S2 is reference to string, not... This is really confusing to read out loud. As specified in the second parameter to add. So why does listing 8-18 compile? Is that the compiler can coerce the string reference to str reference when we call the add method. Rust uses a deref coercion, which here turns the ref to S2 into ref to a slice of S2. Okay. That seems like a lot of I guess that makes sense for the compiler design, but seems like a lot of complexity for not that much. If I were to say. All right. We can add. We can't add two string values together, blah blah blah. Yeah, if we need to concatenate multiple strings, the behavior of the plus operator gets unwieldy. Yeah, this is nice. This is like a format string, right? We like that. We can index into strings. No, we can't. Cannot be indexed by integer. To answer that question, we need to discuss how Rust stores strings in memory. A string is a wrapper over a vector of bytes, unsigned bytes. Let's look at some of our properly encoded UTF-8 example strings from listing 814. First this one, in which case length will be 4. Oh. I understand. Yeah, we're getting into spicy encoding memes here. Of course, the byte length is 24 because those are 2-byte characters. So an index into the string's bytes. And to be fair, they could have. No, that would probably complicate the string implementation a lot. But because then you would have to have different strings for different encodings with like an enum or something. The issue, yeah. So it would get complicated, but I'm thinking you could eventually have a type where you discriminate between different encodings, so that when you query for the length, it actually gives the length in invisible characters, on sort of encoding aware vector, not a byte vector. This song is pretty chill. Users generally don't want the byte value returned, even if the string contains only Latin letters. Right, it would return 104, not H. Oh, so that's why we're iterating through the... Well, first we do as bytes, but... Huh. I'm actually curious now, what is the correct way of... is there a more correct way of iterating over a string? We shall see. Oh, this was Hindi. Okay. How do you pronounce this? Namaste. Okay. Namaste. Namaste. Please channel your chakras. This is now a supernatural chakra opening stream. Galaxy brains. This is what you will become.